Shalom. I like to give all honor, praises, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakaha Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim preaching this word with truth and sincerity around the four corners. Peace and salutations to the Israelite foreigners, the Israelites that live amongst the heathen that look like the heathen. This is not a black thing, this is an Israelite thing. And shalom. Shalom to the speckled bird. And shalom to the Akim and the few Aqua, the true believers of the hopeful elect. Just coming back in the spirit and theme of prophecy. And I wanted to speak briefly about Donald Trump calling the Department of Defense the Department of War. You know, this devil is showing his true horns in the last days, you know. So I was going to read an article I got, hit a couple of precepts, and Lord's willing, this will be edifying, straight and to the point. You know, starting with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, down to the young brothers like myself. We told you that Esau would show his true horns in the last days. You know, that unity of having everybody come together and be one people, that's just a smokescreen. You know, really he wants to rule over the people and continue perpetual rulership for as long as he can. So, let me get to the article. And bear with me. I'm getting ready to hit the plantation again. We're doing graveyard shift hours tonight. Alright, this is from The Guardian. It says, Donald Trump's Department of War will just deliver bloodshed and destruction. And I guess this is the lady that published this article, Judith Levine, or Levine. So let's read a little bit of this. It says, on Friday, Donald Trump signed an executive order restoring the Department of Defense to its original name, the Department of War. That name had a stronger sound, Trump told reporters in August. As Department of War, we want everything, he added. And I think we're going to have to go back to that. In June, at the NATO summit, he called Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary, his secretary of war. You see, so when we tell you that Esau is a bloody and violent man, you should believe us. He's going back to his old ways, his old sinister, demonic, wicked, crooked, perverse ways. You know. It says in the Department of War, Trump and Hegseth see the embodiment of a revived warrior ethos, purportedly lost to overweening wokeness in the armed forces. Hegseth has opened that women don't belong on the battlefield, and DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, has rendered American fighting forces effeminate. At least he got, even a broken clock is right twice a day. Introducing a bill last week to the same effect as Trump's order, Greg Steube, a Florida Republican senator, said the new old name would pay tribute to past fighters' renowned commitment to lethality. And the president, who fashions himself a deal maker for peace, now has a department named to reflect his excellence as warrior king. Just like Apostle Tahar coined it first. This is Emperor Nero coming back in the reincarnation. You know. And then it goes into the history. I'm not going to read that. You can read it on your own. All you got to do is type in Donald Trump, Department of War, The Guardian, and the article should come up. And get a couple of scriptures. Alright, this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach, chapter 12, verse 10. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. And you see the wickedness of Trump going back to the new old name of Department of War. It was never the Department of Defense. It was always the Department of War, because war is in his heart, you know? Matter of fact, Salakia, let me get that. There's the book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 21. Actually, I started at 20. It says, he hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. And this is what Esau has done. All you got to do is do regular history. You see what he did to the when he came over to the Americas. You see what he did to the Northern Kingdom. And then you see, and you fast forward a couple hundred years, and you see what he did when he went to the west coast of Africa and gathered up the Southern Kingdom. You see, he put hands on the people that be at peace with him. It's been well documented that Esau, the so-called white man, has broke over 400 to 500 treaties with the North American Indian. You know, Esau's a bastard by nature. It says, he hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. You see? So even though Trump is speaking nice words, talking about, oh, we need to go back to the old school, but war is in his heart. That's why he named it the Department of War. You see? That was showing his wrath. There's the book of Revelation chapter 12, verse 12, and it reads, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Yeah, and Esau is pulling out all the stops, because he knows that he has a short time to rule. So he's not going to be fair, like he ever was. You know, it's not like he ever was fair. So going out to the brothers and the few sisters, the Akim and the Aqua, you know, you gotta suspect that you're gonna catch heavy persecution in your time in the time of judgment. You see, in this present time, you're gonna catch heavy persecution. But you gotta understand, the Lord ain't gonna give you more than what you can bear. But you have to understand that the devil's not playing fair. That's basically the point. You know, some of us may lose our job. Some of us may get homeless. Some of us may lose our car. Some of us may lose our woman, our kids. You know, the Heavenly Father's going to test your ass to see if you're going to keep your integrity and if you're going to still worship and reverence Him. Because that's what it's all about. Reverencing and worshiping Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai under any circumstance. You got to endure. Let me see something real quick. I believe. Let me get the book of Isaiah chapter 32. And I'll start at 5. It says, the vile person shall be no more called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful. For the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy, and to utter error against the Lord, to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. Yeah, this is exactly what Esau is doing. Just making up laws as he goes along. And it has dire effects on the people, It says the instruments of the churl are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when speaketh right. Even when the needy speaketh right. You see? So even though the needy speak right, and the needy are you could equate to the poor, and the poor is talking about Israel, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So even when we have a valid case in our complaints, he still speaks against it and devises iniquity against it, because he's not for our turn. Esau was programmed and created to put hell on Jacob, point blank, period. And people have to understand that. And our hell and captivity and our punishment is almost accomplished. And now is the exposure of this devil, and after that, the destruction and annihilation of this devil. Well, before that, the destruction and the captivity of this devil. Yeah. And after a long 1,000 years sentence, the destruction and the complete annihilation of this devil. Yeah, that's how I want to word it. After Esau served slavery for 1,000 years, he's going to be rounded up and completely rubbed out, snuffed out. Ain't gonna see no Edomite no more. And that's beautiful. Because personally, I'm tired of them. And I don't even be around them like that. But I thank the Lord that I'm not around them to that extent. Because they definitely are a sight for sore eyes. Not talking about the Israelites that look like Edomites. Because you could definitely tell the difference. Their spirit is totally different. Oh, let me get something in the Apocrypha, then I'm going to close. I just want to make something quick, fast, straight to the point. There's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 10 and 11. It says, let us oppress the poor righteous man, let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. And this is what Esau does through his laws and legislation. He doesn't regard anybody. He doesn't regard anybody. Whether you're young, whether you're old, whether you're middle-aged, whether you're male, female, it doesn't matter. That's why you see the secretary, what was his name? I forgot his name. The guy that Donald Trump called Secretary of War. Salakia. Yeah, Hegseth. Pete Hegseth. That's why that guy said that women don't belong in the army. And they don't. When you look at anybody else's army, any other nation's army, there's no women in it. China doesn't have any women in it. Russia doesn't have any women in it. So on and so forth. Iran. Just to name a few. Only America comes with that making women equal crap. And look what it's done. It's destroyed the society. It's destroyed the family structure, the male and female compatibility structure. It's just destroyed a lot. That's why Esau has to be taken out of power, and he will be. Verse 11, it says, this is the point. It says, let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. You see? Like I said, let our strength be the law and justice. That's why Donald Trump can sign executive order after executive order and change the Department of Defense back into the Department of War. It is truly a wicked man, a wicked people. And Donald Trump represents these wicked people. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 13, verse 23. It says, can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil. And the answer is no. A leopard can't change his skin. A leopard can't change his spots. And the Ethiopian can't change his skin. So those that are accustomed to do evil, they can't do good. You know? The Lord made Esau perverse, adversary to his law, statutes, and commandments. So Esau is moving the way he's supposed to. There's no rehabilitating Esau. That's why the best bet is just to avoid him at all costs, put up curses on him, and move accordingly, you know? But like I said, I didn't want to make this too long. Just quick, straight to the point. Lord's will, you was edified. Till next time, we're going to say shalom to the elect.